far, because this was a heartbeat player for Sengoku in spring, all through summer. Really been absent in playoffs so far. We'll have to see if he is up to the task as we are heading on to the Rift for game number 3. One of these teams will be obtaining match point after this one. And it all comes down to who takes it, as we have some dancing going on.
I love Orn's dance animation. It's so cute. I don't know what it's based off of, though.
It looks like a Fortnite dance or something.
Oh god, that would, which is based off of something else, right? Because that's
yeah.
I remember all of the Fortnite dances are based off of real dances. I think.
Yeah, I think they've gotten in some legal trouble for that, for taking some dances. But this is not a Fortnite stream. I'm sorry for even bringing up the accursed words.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is esports, right? We celebrate all of the games in esports. So hey, I mean, Fortnite still a thriving community over in Japan still. But for League of Legends, as it stands, Jet, you lost to the Taliyah last game, and in all fairness, Dasha had a fantastic game on that Taliyah. I do agree with you. It's something that the desk called out for. We need to see Jet step up, and this is on a champion. I do think he has the tools and the capacity to do so. We haven't seen him play a Taliyah yet in playoffs so far, but it was a champion that we did see them play some amounts. I believe he had 2 games, but he never picked up a win through the regular season in summer. So is this going to be the moment, Jet, that you finally get that win on the stage, or is it going to continue sadly going in a bit of the opposite direction? I don't feel like he's ever played badly on Taliyah. It's just not gone on the wins for them. But once,
What the heck is happening, man? I don't understand. That's the flash force from Blank. I mean, Blank should know at this point he does not win that 1v1. We see Trundle used all the time as a counter pick into the Wukong specifically for this reason. Not a whole lot of melees that win the 1v1 against Trundle in general. Wukong definitely not. Just, again, maybe a little bit of yeah, maybe a little bit of an ego.
It's a response to the game 1. You stole my jungle, and I figured it out and made it work, so you could do the same here.
Oh, now it's once who's in the wrong spot, though. Flash the wrong way, but Empty comes in. That's going to be first blood again, going to the bot lane. But this time it's for Sengoku. This time Softbank Hawks are the one that fall in the early going. And now look at Vital really forcing the tempo, really forcing the issue. Empty going to give his life. You have to feel to set this one up. He flashes out and he will not tank through that last turret. But finally the script has been flipped. Finally things are where we expect them to be. Vital with the big pop-off early.
And that's a cannon wave, so there's even more, and there's the fact that he's going to miss this siege minion, he's going to miss so much experience. It is worth it every day till Sunday morning when the rest of the team will rise potentially, and Sengoku might face Detonation Focus Me. Coming into this replay, it looks like Once is actually out of position, but it was all a ruse because NT was escorting and shadowing from the shadows, and so much. That double knock-up, and that basically wins it. What's also important is Vital actually gets an assist onto these. So he gets an assist also onto that Reiner kill, and it means that Vital doesn't actually fall as far behind on gold that they could have. And then they look at this and they just go, well, the wave stacking and NT, as long as you get a tongue lash onto here, you'll get the assist. And as long as Vital doesn't die, this is great for them. They get so much more gold and CS, and now that you've got 1 kill, 1 assist, Vital has got more CS as well, and the wave's also going to be pushing as he's just gone back. He's got his Cull now. Marble did go Cull first item, but that's not what you expect to be doing, fighting and assisting in engages. That's why it didn't quite work, and ultimately, I think this could be a very scary point now, because Vital is maybe the scariest AD carry with a lead at the moment in the LJL.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely brutal for the Hawks. They were given the cushion in game 1 of an early game lead. They fumbled it. They couldn't hold on to it. They still wound up losing. They were given the cushion of the early game lead in the bot lane in game 2, the one game in the series that they have managed to take thus far. This time around, you're in completely uncharted waters, and I think it just goes to show this is why you prioritize the early TK for NT, because in that play made the abyssal dive engage. It's not the easiest thing on the Tahm Kench. He's not thought of as a reliable engage champion, more of that peeler, but NT really showing up big time right now, and it should be just such a sigh of relief for Sengoku in this game.
Yeah, and an important stat is when I said, yeah, he's got loads of games on this Tahm Kench. That was with old Tahm Kench, remember? This is with the new Tahm Kench coming in. He's still got a decent amount of games on it. He has adapted to the new style of playing this champion. And I mean, even just in small exchanges, you can already start seeing where it's coming out and the flair of style coming out for MT. But something I wanted to just very quickly highlight, Vital is really good at trading. Reiner went to like half health, and that was just through Vital doing very smart pathing and just good sidestepping and just getting out of the way, trading effectively. And Reiner, you haven't got your flash at the moment, so you can't be engaging. Marble has gone cleanse, so they've only got one battle summoner, which is that ignite. And against something like an Aphelios, that's nice. But honestly, half the time an exhaust is better, and Dash is looking for something. But I mean, hey, it's Jet, and he's actually really wanting to win. Hopefully.
Yeah, looks like the pressure may be mounting in the minds of the SoftBank Hawks players in this one, because Dasher has been, in this series so far, pretty dominant in the mid lane exchanges. That time around looked like really trying to force something and just not executing. So Jet maybe playing with a bit of the mental advantage, and now Vital and Nenti trying to keep this crab safe and secure, keep this lead building up for once, and they will do so. Pillar knocks off the shield. Easy take.
Smart. Just protect the resources, protect the shared resources, pull out advantages, start clearing out vision. And I mean, this is just roaming style. This is what happens when you have a jungler who can actually be very proactive in the early game. Once has played 2 games where it can't do anything pre-6, realistically. And now he's actually able to get onto the map. He can start assisting things, and you could tell Blank just wasn't prepared for an early invade. And it's been a catch-up game since then for Blank. 32 farm actually compared to the 50, and once is well and truly being the Troll King.
Yeah, and Blank egoing out a little bit. That was an accusation we had pointed towards Sengoku in the first 2 games of this series, but Blank should know that he didn't win that early exchange on the Wukong and went for it anyway. And now the game plan that they had in the first 2 games so severely disrupted, we'll have to see if they can find some sort of path back in through an alternate win condition. Maybe it finally comes in the top lane, which we've seen mostly ignored in the early game in both of the games in this series so far, but it feels so hard to influence one way or the other when you got these 2 big meatballs whacking away at each other up here.
Yes, and with these 2 meatballs, it means because the lane's currently pushing in the favor of Paz, I mean, it's going to crash, which means it's going to start pushing in the other way for Konatsu, which in turn, it does mean that Paz can kind of come over and assist with trying to collect the Rift Herald as it does spawn. Blank is also on the bot side, so now the side it should be for Konatsu, try and freeze the wave underneath your turret, don't worry about it, it's actually getting pushed out, so this hasn't been great wave management, but they looked for the gank here, but it wasn't quite planned out for. Dasher has still got his flash as well, so it's not that they got anything for this exchange, and if anything, it just means more time for Blank to get around the map.
Yeah, and more time for Konatsu to shove that wave back out in safety.
Yeah.
So, you know, they said, screw the crab, we want chicken meat for dinner. Weren't able to collect. Going to have to take the consolation prize now of this, what is a crab? A crustacean? An urchin of some sort? It's a bottom feeder. You know, they don't get the prime meat, and that is the prime ult coming out from Dasher. You don't punish the chicken, and that's what he do. This time around, the execution is true. 3-man strong. SoftBank Hawks answer back onto Jet.
Yeah, and once is here to just collect the CS and walk it out. I mean, hey, this is really proficient. Dasher keeps looking for those Shurima shuffles every single time he has an opportunity. And hey, first one didn't work out. We only got the flash. Perfect. My timers will be up next time, and if I have an opportunity, I'll go for it. The fact that they also had Blank and Reiner to assist with it, with the knock-up from the Rakan, all but anything but secured it as we come into this replay. But what's important is they had done the vision clear. They know that Tahm Kench and there's no one really going to be able to assist them here, so it's just a very simple knockout. Wukong ultimate, get it. They do try and give it over. I could tell for a split second they're trying to give it to Dasher, and Dasher's auto attacks just at this moment are very fast. Like, look at his build. It's slow, but he does damage.
Indeed, as Yeah, that's the Shrima Shuffle executed successfully for Dasher. You love to see it. Jet continuing to be a little bit of a non-factor in this series thus far. Dodged out on the first one well enough, but at this point, you really need Jet to step it up. We're going to have to keep an eye on this Talia, and I think what's interesting is opting for the Unsealed Spellbook almost feels like more of a concession towards utility, more of a concession towards situational gameplay instead of the dominant lane play and roaming that we've associated with Jet through the season. So I wonder if maybe there are some factors we're unaware of affecting Jet during this playoffs, affecting the mental state, because it just doesn't feel like we've been seeing the same player so far as we did during the regular season. And that's a shame, because a Sengoku without a strong Jet is not a Sengoku that's as fun to watch.
Well, I think that's partly a column or a factor issue that the two mid laners he's played so far in playoffs aren't going to just kind of give a small advantage over and then completely capitulate afterwards. Dasher and in respectiveness as well, Yaharong, they're both very good players at checking, and ultimately a big factor for Sengoku is getting tempo going and then using that pressure that Jet generates through the tempo advantages in mid lane and sharing that out. If they don't have that kind of being created and then amplified throughout the rest of the team, it can be very hard to transition it over in any direction. And I think, honestly, if you can nullify Jet, you nullify a lot of the power.
Those were the traps in such good placement. Now the double cyclone going to lock up Enti, but the thick skin doing a lot of work to keep him alive for a while. But now it's Jet who's pinched in the wrong place. Oh, the shuffle is beautiful once again from Dasher. And Sengoku, they had a decent early game, but now they're the ones throwing in the mid. They allowed themselves to get pinched. They went a little too far forward as we see how it all went down.
But
Jet,
you just have to look at the vision that Sengoku have on the map at the moment. They have nothing around bot lane. They know the bot side just pushed in, and they go into this blind. And yes, only NT ends up really paying for the sins here once does get out. But the issue is Jet is just so far up as well. It's a split team fight, and the fact that Kanatsu's there, it's just like, well, yeah, no, now we just lose this. Kanatsu immediately teleports top as well and just collects the wave. And it's like, they got so much off of that play. And it was also a 4v5. It was always for Sengoku to win, and they took it cleanly. No, for Hawks to win, and they took it cleanly. There we go.
I got what you meant. As
Thank you, sir.
Speaking of Sengoku wins, though, it's a nice transition. They did at least still have that Herald in their back pocket. Not going to get them the gold lead back, but going to stay mostly in parity here as once. Going to just sidestep that battle dance very well. That grand entrance not going to catch him. So Rhina, a little bit sad face on that one, but Softbank Hawks feeling much better than they did a few minutes ago. They've rebounded nicely despite the game plan going a little bit awry, and now Marble 2-1 on this Jinx can get a lot of work done. The later we get into this game, Swan, the more I feel like the range advantage of the Hawks could be a big deciding factor.
It could be. There is also the chance that no one gets onto Vital, and they lose the team fight because of that. There is always this inevitability factor, which is, I think, has been something that was sorely missed, especially in that game number 2. They had inevitability in game number 1 with Vital. They have now got it again with game number 3. And it was correct to trust in him, even after going 0-2 in lane, has been able to find those ways to come back into that game on that Lucian. And I always think there's a chance he could do it on the surface. He's just finished his Cull, as has Marble, so with Cull Gaming done, let's see how they transition it across, because I'm a little bit skeptical to ever count out Vital until 1 or 2 team fights go truly badly for them.
Yeah, definitely a big-time AD carry player, filling Honey's shoes quite wonderfully. Marble, though, up to the challenge in this series. After game number 1, bounced back well. The young rookie trying to make a name for themselves
that's a Nyla game in that, mate. Like we
Swan, I'm building up. Come on, I'm trying to hype up our young rookie talent. You're the one who's usually all over this, mate. Come on, we gotta sauce it up a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. You know. That's not fine though. Sengoku being the big benefactors of the turret plates in the early game.
And this is Paz also doing it against the former rookie of the split for 2021, Kinatsu. And Paz didn't have the greatest season last split. He was fine. He was perfectly serviceable. But, I mean, Sengoku didn't have a great last 2021. 2022 has been fantastic. A complete turnaround for the organization and some of its players as well. NT was also on that roster from last year, and again, a player that was always making the top 3, was always making very deep runs. Didn't have it in 2021. It was a bit of an off season for them, but they've come back and they're very strong. And hey, it's a 5v5 team fight. Let's see what they do.
If they fight, I think the Herald... No, the Sejuani Ultimate is going to find it. I thought they were just going to take the Herald and run out, but now the exchange of the long-range engage ultimates, but neither team wants to commit. It's the Forge God exchange for the Glacial Prison, but neither team wants to follow up. Neither team feeling confident. Sengoku takes their Herald, and they say, okay, we're done with that.
And peace was brought back to the Rift when Trundle picked up his crown that was the Scuttle Herald's soul. Rift Herald, Scuttle Herald, I mean, that was Shirley's soul. Bit of a weird one when you start adding that into words. So anyway, they at least get something out of this. And I mean, Hawks are the losers in that one because they actually got nothing, but it's not, and it's really not worth it. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think you're actually going to do the fight, even if you have 5v5, you probably shouldn't go to the fight if you don't want the fight. And what I mean by that is leave your AD carry bot. We saw them do that in previous series. We saw Vital do that in game number 1 as well. So it's an option you can take if you don't think you're going to win the fight. It's what people do with topside with Dragons as well. They seed over a lane or two, try and get those extra waves in, get the gold. Gold can win you the game. But hey, we didn't see it here. It's an LJL special. So let's see if they're going to fight for this Dragon, because I have a sneaking suspicion with Infernal Rift, they will.
Yeah, this is a big individual value Drake. Both of these teams want to cut off the stacking. One a piece split on the Drake so far, and this is a nice tool Sengoku have for themselves to force this first turret gold still on the map, by the way, and it will fall to them right now, securing so much mid lane priority ahead of this Drake, getting themselves a big cash infusion, and now walking over. Dasher already in that river, got a lot of deep vision though. Konatsu, unfortunately, doesn't have TP quite yet to make the deep flank, though. So plenty of time for all of Sengoku to move into the river, sweep out this vision, try and get over to that Infernal. Meanwhile, Softbank Hawks crawling through the trenches, moving up that line of scrimmage, moving the advance up the battlefield, but that is going to be Konatsu getting hit by the seismic shove into the stones, half health of Leandries, tearing through him, and now the damage will continue off the Moonlight Vigil. Vital flashing forward to set it up. The call of the Forge God finds absolutely no one as the tank falls. The turret must be summoned by the Emperor of Shurima just to escort some sort of exit for the Hawks, and that should be the Drake now going over to Sengoku.
A lot of patience there from the side of Sengoku. It was protect Vital at all costs. You could see NT on the other side of the wall waiting for the moment to just gobble him up if there was ever any moment. The moment Reiner stepped forward and the fight looked like it could begin, the members of Sengoku collapsed immediately, and they found their pick on Konatsu, and they used everything they could. Huge damage coming out, and Jet just finding almost a 2v1.
That was the flash with the big stone coming through from Jet to not quite connect on Rhino. Just trying to defend this Gromp, too. I mean, Rhino and Blank just looking for something to cross-map for that Infernal Drake, so they went, okay, we'll go and catch a frog. And Jet was having none of it, willing to expend that summoner to defend it. So that's a little bit of a victory for the Hawks, getting that out on a Gromp defense. But in the end, I'd still rather be Sengoku after that sequence of play. Got the first turret, got a kill, got themselves a Drake, and now firmly back in control, and it all starts here.
Yeah, and so Vital is the person they're playing around. The moment they happen to, though, get the hook onto Konatsu with the knockback, with Gravitum and everything else, they just go, hey, let's just keep going. And the fact that Reiner is able to be so tricksy on this Rakan, it's what saves this play, and honestly makes it so it didn't completely go fully in Sengoku's favor, though they still obviously get a lot from it. And part of the reason why Jet was just so willing to use his flash randomly there just for style points and maybe a kill on a Rakan, which isn't normally something you should actually flash for, he's got Spellbook. So he's kind of incentivized to just use summoners as and when he wants them. TP is obviously one of those spells that you kind of want to hold, especially when it's empowered for a good moment, and then afterwards you're like, well, I can switch off, it doesn't matter, it's fine. This game is still on a knife's edge though, Dodge. I feel like Sengoku are starting to come up to a few edges, but I mean, Dasher with these shuffles has been so game-changing.
Indeed, indeed, and we'll have to see if that shuffle can be the difference maker moving forward, as Dasher looking like one of the strong points here, along with Marble on the Jinx. I think it needs a bit of a cleaner engage, though. Last time around, Kanatsu not really getting the job done, getting caught out a little bit. Have to be a little bit more of a synergized approach from the Hawks.
Oh,
See
dodge.
what they can manage to do with the Baron hitting the Rift in 5 seconds as Rhina actually forced to take the Grand Entrance away, but will get prisoned up. There comes Enti to find the knockup. That is one
still out!
a live bird, actually. Rakan, very slippery. And
Bird up.
You know what? I just noticed, Swan. It's the Hawks. They have bird buff. They have double bird. They got Azir and Rakan. I mean, it doesn't save their tier 2 turret, but...
No, and it's not really working out for them, arguably. I mean, they needed both of the lovers' duos, really. They need, if you want to get full bird combo, you've got to lean into any and every extent that you could get a bird. What's another bird champ? We need a Nivea in this game.
Quinn
So
top.
we wanted ooh. No, I was thinking it would be the Azir top.
Oh, okay.
We've seen a few of those, and then you put
a Nivea
mid. Who's the
Quinn jungle? Quinn can jungle, right?
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is Quinn top, and then you just force the Azir into the jungle or something. I don't know. That sounds horrible as well.
Swan, I'm a play-by-play caster. I'm Silver. They don't pay me to come up with which picks go where. They pay me to talk fast. But there's not much to talk fast about. I don't pay you at all, mate,
but yeah.
Well, not for this. When I say they, I mean a nebulous third party, but... in this game,
we get paid by things.
There's not much to talk fast about in this game, unfortunately, right now, Swan. It's just sort of Sengoku quietly building up advantages, still at about that half a K gold lead, fluctuating to around a K. Thankfully for Softbank Hawks, they do have 2 big scaling carries. It's the touchstone we keep going back to. It's Jinx and Azir. If they are given space to free fire in these fights, if they are given the setup for the shuffle, big things will happen. The question is, can Sengoku continue to pick the team apart and keep them separated before that happens? They'll have to do that if they want to defend this Baron, because Dasher is just TP'd in. It looks like the Hawks are making a big push to control this area.
Well, I mean, Paz is actually deciding to TP mid just to kind of catch them and see if they're actually going to willingly do this trade, which will also force the response out from the Hawks to be, hey, we can't do for this. It does look like Hawks are also somewhat looking to the side of Sengoku to say, do you want to do a cross-map trade? We'll take Baron while you take Dragon, and are you going to be able to respond to us in time? But as it stands, that was the clone, so that's just going to make Jet look like they did more damage when they didn't actually do it. And I mean, that's part of the issue with the last game where we saw sometimes the damage numbers look great for the Hawks, but it didn't do anything, but they're all caught!
That pillar! The glitchy pillar finds Kanatsu, but will it be enough? Because he gets a lot of damage on the Paz, but unfortunately he has no follow-up. He flashes the wall, but the succumb, oh my goodness gracious, does he live through the ignite, through the
64.
subjugate? He does! He does not succumb to the triple burn coming on through. What a hero was Kanatsu right there. Or maybe just one lucky ram. But in the end, that does mean that Softbank Hawks can continue to have a map presence because he has his TP. He can instantly reset and come in.
He's got ult as well.
Do they get this Baron? They've started it up. Sengoku crawling through this uncontrolled territory, trying to get in time. It's only half health, the Baron, but now it is continuing to come down. Look at Blank with the super deep flank. The jungler not in the pit, but Rhina already taken half health. Now the Cyclone coming through. Will it be Paz going down first? No, he gets out with the locket, but Vital does find the first kill, and now Blank will be chased all the way through. Enti going deep. They're still turning it on the other half. It's a split fight, but Jet has the stones out. He has the stones going strong as Marble is the last man standing. The triple kill for Vital will soon turn into the full-on ace coming through for Sengoku. They called the bluff, Swan. They found Softbank Hawks on that Baron, and they won the fight.
I don't know how. I'll be honest, that looks so great for the idea of the Hawks. Blank was genuinely doing his old secret agent style stuff from T1 days, and I thought this was all about to come together. I really did believe. And yet, Vital was able to succeed and live, and that's the player I want to highlight to you. Blue and red gun. What are one of those sayings? You never fight them, and they got to take down Rhina before anyone else can get onto it. The white gun comes through, and when it's red-white gun, you do not fight. Vital gets taken incredibly low, but they're able to go inside the
so much shield.
Enti is able to do so much for them, and then by the time they're able to heal up with red-white gun, and it was all over for them. And it was honestly Enti and Vital carrying this. There was a lot of good ideas from the side of the Hawks. And honestly, the members of Sengoku backed up the play fantastically. The fact is, though, Sengoku have taken over this game, and their bot lane are the winners. Holy, look at that.
Yeah, Vital kind of popped off when the Devourer gives you like a 600 HP shield and you can just stand in the midst of the front line. It's pretty sweet. I mean, Blank trying to take that 500 IQ deep flank in that last fight as well means he was super late and couldn't focus down Vital. So, yeah, basically a fat L for Softbank Hawks. They will try and trade a tier 2 here, but you don't win this base race, Dasher, against, you know, a 5-stack with Baron on the other side of the map. Although maybe the overextension could come through. Now he's TPing. That's the stun going through. Here's the call of Forge God. Can they find Vital this time? No, Enti's still on point. Spits out his 80 carry, but he spits him the wrong way. Does have to use that Gale Force to try and get back, but Blank was on him. Finds the knockup, but it wasn't enough to kill him, so Vital lives. Softbank Hawks do trade 1-for-1 so far, but now they'll make it 2 as the Jinx has a chance to pop off. The Jinx has a chance to chase it through. Rakan gonna get on out of dodge as Softbank Hawks punish Sengoku. It looked like they could have gotten out there, but in the end, it is Marble finding it all. Is now the rocket. Will it find its mark? Will it catch its target in its sights? Well, it hits Vital, but he's fine.
I don't understand how that went so weird, because if you look at the members of Sengoku, they are grouped. The moment they get this TP in, I don't know if they can quite see it, but the moment they see it, they should be getting out. They should just be withdrawing and go, hey, we got the TP. That's great. The push isn't coming. They get the eat. But who I want to pay, and I would slam pause right here, is Reiner gets a 4-man charm, which completely causes huge issues for the side of Sengoku and how they want to do this. The issue is now, Vital has recalled. He's already out of this. And the rest of the members of Sengoku are like, no, we can still fight this. We can still go for this. It's miscommunication for sure here. Yeah, they get out 2 of their members. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Sengoku won out on this play. But it wasn't how it should have gone. And ultimately, this has led to a negative Baron buff play, which is not how it should have gone.
No, not at all. The consolation prize for Sengoku here, of course, is they are still sitting on that Infernal Drake point. So that will be something for them, but definitely not the level of execution you want to see. I don't know exactly how this interaction works. I thought Enti either spit Vital out the wrong way or Vital clicked to come out early because he came out on the side of Softbank Hawks when he did get ejected.
Yeah.
So, and then was forced to use the Gale Force to get away further into the back line. Maybe that fight goes a different way if Vital has more time to free hit like we saw at the last Baron fight. But now things are a bit dicier than they have to be, and Dice isn't even in this game, so that's a wild statement to make. But Sengoku's still feeling confident.
Neither Dice or Dicey. Remember, we have both versions here.
Why is LJL so confusing, Swan? Oh my goodness
we
gracious.
all like rolling dice, mate. We've got Crest Gaming Act as well, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen half the time. But I mean, these two teams, they've been the consistent 2-dog. They are the tried and tested one. This is our first place team with Sengoku, remember, tied with their Nation Focus Me in this regular summer season, with the Hawks being decisively the 3rd team, when no other team in the LJL, outside of DFM and Sengoku, who are above them, no one came close. Not even remotely. There was a decisive pact between the Hawks, and that's how they got here. But in this series, they're getting pushed, and it's a lot harder than you expect, even with them sometimes coming out to early game leads, like in game 1 and 2. This 3rd game, they've just struggled to pull it back, even when they've had the chances. And hey, they're playing with bounties now.
That they are. They can try and find this Aphelios. They can try and find one of these tier 2 or 3 turrets in the side lanes, really explode the wallets up to match those of Sengoku, and Marble might just be the man to do it, being the big decider in that last overextension. Gonna take the reset coming through, sitting on the 3 items with the Infinity Edge. Does actually give him a big DPS boost over where Vital is right now. Had to go for that Lord Doms to cut through the Ornn. Might be a big decision maker, as it's going to be 2 objectives hitting the Rift at the same time here, Swan, in 50 seconds. Soul for Sengoku and the 3rd Baron, I believe, of the game. Definitely going to be, or rather the 2nd. I can't do math. It's going to be the 2nd Baron of the game. Either way, big decisions coming on through. And I'm really curious to see which of these teams is going to prioritize which side, or if Sengoku can just sweep them both.
Well, I mean, Hawks have to kind of play. It's not their Cloud Soul where I was trying to force a narrative that they need to fight, but they didn't. And in all fairness, they didn't really have to if they didn't want to. It's a Cloud soul. It's not the most backbreaking one unless your opponents get to triple stack or quad stack at least, and then suddenly Cloud is starting to do a lot of actual movement in and out of combat. Well, actually, it's all out of combat. But it's not this. It's Infernal. That's a lot of damage, especially on a Kiana, especially on a Felios. And I mean, it's just getting to that place, Blank. You're going to have to be pulling some agent stuff out here because I'm not sure how else you're going to be able to do this one. They're already signed the Dragon Dodge, and I don't think they're going to do it. They're already pinging on the Baron. They think they're going to go for the flip.
Yeah, I think this is way too late coming out from the Hawks. They tried to go for a cheeky little steal with Marble's rocket there, but it will be the Infernal Soul picked up. And now look at Paz and Jet. They have the deep flank. The only place Softbank Hawks Gaming can run is into enemy territory. Even if they take this Baron, it could be doomed. But once so low, they might actually win the fight.
Oh!
They go into the pit. It will be Blank who picks up the objective bounty Baron. But look at Marble caught where they shouldn't be. That is going to be the 2-for-1 in favor of Sengoku. But they don't get the Baron. It does go to the Hawks who started up. Now they have to find it on the back end, and they will. Dasher goes down. Blank will follow. In the end, it is the decisive win for Sengoku. They'd only let one purple buff get away, and they might just look for the end here.
Oh, they're going to keep pushing. I mean, look at the death time. It's 30 seconds currently on Marble, and that's the first big member you're going to need. It's all about crashing these waves, and yes, Baron is fantastic at doing this, but Kanatsu, have you got it in you?
They do have Paz here. He can try and tank up these turrets to keep the wave a-going, but Rhina and Kanatsu burns so quick, even with all of these tank stats with the bonus resistances. He is just a paper tiger in front of a storm as Sengoku is going off. They will take Nexus turret number 2. They will pop the Nexus to take a 2-1 lead in this series.
8-0-5, 1-2-12. The bot lane for Sengoku Gaming, Vital and NT showing why they have been a dangerous bot lane. And honestly, what a performance from the members of Sengoku.